If you guys know, there's a massive feud going on between X, Brazil, and their Supreme Court Justice, their Alexandre de Moraes. Here's what's going on here. So here's a Guardian. I'm going to read a few of them for you, and then we'll go open up and talk about this. X goes offline in Brazil after Elon Musk's refusal to comply with local laws. Okay, so Elon is saying, Brazil, screw you. We're going to do whatever we're going to do here. X, formerly known as Twitter, was blocked in Brazil after Elon Musk refused to comply with local laws, leading the country's Supreme Court to enforce the ban. This action, led by Judge Alexandre de Moraes, was in response to X allowing the massive propagation of misinformation and hate speech and Musk's failure to appoint a new legal representative after closing X's local office. The ban left millions of Brazilian users, including top influencers like Felipe Neto, unable to access X. Many migrated to the rival network Blue Sky, which gained 500,000 users in 2 days. Neto reminded Musk, when you go to another country, you're obliged to follow its legislation, even if you disagree with it. Musk responded to the ban with vulgar and combative remarks. Again, this is Guardian, folks, calling Judge de Moraes a Voldemort and accusing him of being a dictator and a fraud. Okay, so obviously that's not going to sit well with him because he doesn't want the people to know who he really is. And Elon Musk just told him who he really is. And then you got, I mean, you know, things are getting serious when the Hulk is getting involved. And I'm talking about Hulk like Mark Ruffalo. If you want to go to this guy's, the tweet he puts up, Rob, just go to my Twitter account. I retweeted at this guy. So think how weird this situation is. This guy, Mark Ruffalo, okay? He tweets out and quotes Alexandre, zooming in his tweet, and then you'll come back to what I responded with. He tweets, this is what Alexandre said. Elon Musk showed his total disrespect for Brazilian sovereignty and in particular for the judiciary. He's talking about himself, setting himself up as a true supranational entity and immune to the laws of each country. De Moraes wrote, look what Mark says, because he is a weird and entitled billionaire tech bro. Tax him heavily. He says this, why you'll go to the comment section, go back please. Look at the comment section. He turned off the comment section.
Weird.
Now go back, Rob, to my tweet, respond at him. And I said, defending Alexandre de Moraes while having comment section off says it all. Both you and him hate freedom of speech as anti-American as one can be, right? And this continues. Robert Reich gets involved, which I have a phenomenal picture to show you guys of Robert Reich when he was younger and handsome. I can't wait to share the Rob. I'll send it to you to show to the audience. We have to give him credit on how beautiful and handsome he was when he was younger. But so Robert Reich gets involved. Ex-Labor Secretary Robert Reich claims Elon Musk's out of control, says regulators should threaten arrest. What? Threaten arrest? Because he bought X and people are able to actually speak there? This is him. Robert Reich said Elon Musk is out of control and argued in a column that regulators should threaten Musk with arrest if he continues to disseminate lies and hate on X. And Reich criticized Musk's accusation of Twitter as dangerous nonsense driven by quest for power, not free speech. He urged the U.S. government to terminate its contracts with Musk's SpaceX, questioning why the nation relies on Musk companies when he shows utter disregard for public rest. And by the way, he's saying all this shit, right? While Brazil is a couple months away from election. I think they got an election next month, in the month of October. And in Brazil, they use Twitter heavily. Tom, what are your thoughts on what's going on in Brazil?
Well, I've got two thoughts. One is, do they have a president or they just have some sort of judicial dictatorship? Number one. And number two, do the people of Brazil understand what's going on here? You know, you have an outside platform that can't be controlled inside, so the people can see the truth of what's going on around them and make their own decision. And so what you have is a very large, significant country with a judicial. This is what a wing of the Democrat Party want here in the United States. They want the ability to turn on and off the dissenting view. And they're going to call it hate speech. They're going to call it not progressive. They're going to put whatever branding, which they do very well on it. And that's what they want. Well, that's what Brazil has got, because Brazil, if you follow the story of being president there, you never retire. You usually go to jail. And then there's a new election and the next guy comes in and then he might go to jail. So there's a long-standing tradition there. They do have term limits, but they don't have parole. So you've got a bunch of things here you have to deal with. but the people of Brazil are here. And I think Elon Musk is saying, look, there were other tweets from Musk that he says, I'm not going to do something that's illegal, and they were asking me to do other things here, not just comply with their law.
And so Brazil does have a president. It's Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, who took office January 1st. Third term as president. He was previously served from 2003 to 2011, and he's both the head of the state and the head of the government, leading the executive branch and the federal government.
You know who he is?
No.
He was part of something called the Operation Car Wash. He went to jail for stealing nearly $600 million worth citizens.
Yep.
The Supreme Court Justice, Alexandre de Moraes, goes and releases him from jail and changes the law because they knew that only one guy could beat Bolsonaro, which is Lula, and Lula ends up beating Bolsonaro. The day he does, there's riots of millions of people in the streets of Brazil. That Lula guy is one of the biggest criminals in the history of Brazil, who is one of very good friends and allies of Bernie Sanders and AOC.
Yeah, weird.
Lula.
He's the Bernie Sanders of Brazil, although he's also been to jail.
Straight to jail.
But Pat, you've done multiple panels about Brazil. You know, I've been from Miami, Colombian friends, Argentinian friends, Venezuelan friends, a lot of Brazilian friends. They have mixed feelings on what's going on here. But my Northern Star is, all right, where does the United States rank in all this, right? Like, great, I understand there's chaos in Brazil. I understand there's chaos everywhere around the world. You know, this whole concept of freedom of speech and freedom of expression. My Northern Star is, all right, where is USA in all this? And the reality is in USA, we're actually trending the wrong way. Not a good look. So that, you know, I've gone through, I can show you some stats in a second, Rob. The whole concept of freedom of speech and the freedom of speech index, dude, I reviewed the World Population Review, Reporters Without Borders, Pew, World Press Freedom Index. There's all these different classifications. And essentially what they do is they'll either put a country into one of 5 categories. And the green, which you can see over there in Scandinavian countries, is a quote-unquote good situation. Then the second one, which is towards yellow, is a satisfactory situation when this cumulative index of freedom of speech, which factors in freedom of press, freedom of expression, protection of freedom of speech, everything with that. Then you have quote-unquote noticeable problems, which is in orange. So if you go to the United States, noticeable problems, okay. And then it gets worse. The fourth category is light red, quote unquote, difficult situation, which you can see happening in certain parts of South America and Africa. And then you have a number 5, very serious situation, which it looks like in China, in Russia, in North Korea, that side of the world, Saudi Arabia, where good luck saying anything. So for me, my biggest concern is United States. You know, in 2023 or the last time they did this, it was post-COVID, so 22, 23, we were number 45 in the world. So there's about 180, 190 countries, depending on if you're going to factor in size and population. 180 countries. We're number 45. All right, not the best. Since then, do you think we went up or down this year? We're now number 55 in the world. So if you scroll down, Rob, I believe there's like actual rankings. This is what concerns me the most. There you go, right there. So again, I did the green, the yellow, the orange, the light red, the dark red. And I can kind of weigh in on this. The left side is these countries are doing okay, right? You have the Scandinavian countries, Norway, Denmark, Netherlands, Sweden, so on and so forth, even Canada. Then the second category is like, look, you're doing okay, but you can also room for improvement. That's where United States is. But Brazil, where's Brazil? Brazil's number 82. So essentially they're in the middle. They can go one way or another. If they continue down this path of suppressing freedom of speech and basically criminalizing Elon Musk because he's giving access to freedom of speech, what direction does Brazil want to go? Do they want to go in towards the satisfactory good situation, or do they want to go towards the noticeable problems, difficult, very serious situation like China?
By the way,
keep talking, Adam. Tell us about 49.
49?
Romania.
Here we go.
That is better than United States?
Yeah. 49 is Romania. And if you have...
by the way,
that's a whole nother conversation.
George Washington once said this. He said, the freedom of speech may be taken away, and dumb and silent, we may be led like sheep to the slaughter.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
George Washington said this, okay? So they can sit here and say whatever they want to say about all this stuff. And by the way, this isn't Brazil's not the first one that's been banned. That banned X. Just so you know, temporarily in the past, Egypt did it in 2011. Mm-hmm. Turkey did it in 2014 and 2023. Uzbekistan did it in 2021. China banned X permanently in June of 2009, like permanently.
Wow. June of 2009, they're like, hey, you have a social media app, you're done. Thanks, bye.
Iran blocked X. Done in 2009. Yeah. North Korea blocked X and other platforms, Facebook, YouTube, since 2016. Mm-hmm. You got Russia throttled access to X in 21, formally banned it in March of 2022 after the invasion of Ukraine. Many Russians use VPN to bypass it. Pakistan blocked X earlier this year. Venezuela blocked X following the 2024 election amid allegations of fraud and widespread. We're talking about Maduro's situation here. Yep. And now they're going after Elon, okay? And, with the whole thing that happened with Pavel who Telegram that went to they arrested him. I think they arrested him in they arrested him in Europe? Where did they arrest him? In France, right?
Yes.
So here's the thing that with Elon Musk, he's done such a great job that they can't touch him. Because the number one EV automaker in America that creates more EVs than all the other cars combined, you know what that company is called? It's called Tesla. Yeah. While the two people were stuck in space with a company called Boeing that's been around for God knows how many years, you know who was the one that said, you know what? We'll find a way to come and save you guys, and we can't wait till next year because this is the right thing to do. It was a company called SpaceX, ran by a man named Elon Musk, right? Do you know who owns the most battery facilities for EVs that need to get their cars charged? Yeah, Elon Musk. Do you know when Ukraine was going to war against Russia, and everybody was like, Putin's a bad guy and all this other stuff. Do you know how many Starlinks, Elon Musk gave to Ukraine while they're losing? I think it was like $21 million a month. We can find the number. I may be off by a couple of dollars. They said, don't worry about it. Keep it on for Ukraine. Even though Ukraine talked shit to Elon, he still kept it on. So you got human rights with what he's doing. You got climate change, they claim is very important to them. This guy's actually working on it with his cars. You got space, you want to go explore space. He's actually doing it while it costs NASA $2.1 billion to launch a rocket. He does it for $69 million. He knows how to save money. Let me say that one more time, folks. NASA government-funded program tries to launch a rocket. It costs him $2.1 billion, $2 billion. He does it for $69 million, okay, specifically 69. He could have paid 67, but he paid $2 million more because he likes to pay $69 million for things, $69,000 for his cars. That's because of his sense of humor with that, with 420 and other things.
And NASA drops the polluted parts into the ocean. When they're done with them, he brings them back and recycles and recycles and recycles.
So do you realize how many different ways this guy is built himself to be the guy that if they do anything to him, the world's going to be affected by it in different ways. Now, does that give him a lot of power? Yes. Do you find out, did Lincoln say, if you really want to find out about someone's character, what do you do? Give him power? Yes. Are people really going to find out what he's really all about long term? Of course. But so far, what has he done to society? He's given you freedom of speech. And Mark Cuban, who loves freedom of speech, decided to do a poll the other day, folks, because of Elon Musk. Mark decides to pose a question in a creative way to get people to side with him, and it backfires. And I'm sure he did not have the best of weekend. He probably didn't give a shit about it. But here's what he decides. So just go to Twitter, Rob. It's the best way to do it. If you go to Twitter, okay, Mark Cuban decides to run a poll, and I'll read this. Mark Cuban decides to run a poll saying, who would you rather have your child have their character, who would you like to see them duplicate? Would it be more Trump or would it be more Kamala Harris? Okay. Well, the results came back, and here's what the results look like. Wow. 17.5 million views, 804,000 people voted. Whose persona and character would you like to see your young child grow up to have? Kamala Harris or Trump?
And this is on his, these are his followers.
Following. 69% said Trump.
Wow.
Only 31% said Kamala Harris. Tom, when you saw this, what was your reaction to it?
First of all, honestly, what I did is I clicked up there on Cuban because I said, let me make sure this isn't a parody account, that underneath it was like Mark Cuban number 26 or something. You know what I mean? Yeah. Underscore 27. And I'm like, no, this is really Cuban. And I was stunned. I said, boy, I'm wondering if he wishes that he never asked this question, because not only did he get a sharp answer, he got let's use a word here, a landslide answer.
70-30. I mean, and like you said, Pat, these are people that are loyal to him. And I know people have haters that follow just to hate on him.
I loved it.
It's hilarious.
Had I seen the poll when it was up, that's how I would have
Can we see
voted.
the comment section? Just go down. Let's just see what the comment section people are saying. So zoom in a little bit. I think Senator Kennedy can add some valuable insight to this question. Thankfully, an American picked a person. Keep going a little lower. Let's see what other people are saying. Mark Cuban, is that you? He's thinking it's Elon Musk using that account. Are you going to be on the white dudes for Harris call?
That's funny.
You don't get it, Mark. You're a this is help. Keep going lower. Keep going lower. Let's see what else we got. Hunter Biden or Barron Trump? Wait until Trump wins this poll and you say X is such a right-wing app instead of just reading the effing room. I don't want my kids on their knees to climb the ladder of life. Wow, that was...
I wonder what that's about.
I don't understand what he was saying there.
Me neither.
I'm not raising commies. How did Kamala climb the ladder? I'll give you a hint, but keep going lower. So, anyway, so it's risky to go through the chat, see what people are saying. One thing to know: the debate is officially happening. Next is a Tuesday night, Rob. So we're doing right after the Vol Conference. I'm going to be at the Vol Conference this weekend at Palm Beach Convention Center. Bunch of people will be there. Thousands of people are coming from around the world. Cannot wait to see all of you guys. However, next Tuesday night, we will do a live Trump-Harris debate reaction with a live audience. But just like last time, we don't sell the full room because our employees like to come. We're only selling the first 50 tickets that buy. We will still do the VIP. We'll still go afterwards, have the cigar, the conversations. We're going to do that part. That's the QR code. Go get registered. The first 50 that buy tickets will be invited to be with us next Tuesday. Rob, what time is is it going to be a 6 to 11 type of situation that we're doing?
Yes, 7 p.m. to 11 p.m.
7 p.m. to 11 p.m. And, of course, we'll do the cigars right after the debate's over with. And there's a lot of craziness going on here, but especially with everything going on right now, if you're following this will be the first debate they're having. Come join us. We'll have a good time together, as well as potentially for the VIPs, we'll do cigars and conversations afterwards.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.